A major development has shaken West Africa once again, and the entire world is watching closely. Reports indicate that a group of military officers in Guinea-Bissau have seized power, declaring complete control of the state and announcing that the previous administration has been removed. This new takeover has triggered global shock, regional tension, and a fresh wave of questions about the future of democratic transitions across Africa. Before we go deeper into this analysis, remember to like, share, and subscribe to AfriPlusNews Channel so you never miss critical updates like this one. According to confirmed reports coming out of Bissau, the military announced that they had taken full control of the country on Wednesday, 26th of November, 2025. They declared that they now hold total authority and have effectively replaced the existing political leadership. This bold move raises a fundamental question. What forces pushed the military to such a drastic decision, and why now? Could this be a response to long-standing political tensions, or does it reflect a deeper struggle over power, legitimacy, and national direction? As the officers made their declaration, they suspended the electoral process from the recently held 23rd of November elections. They also imposed a nationwide curfew and shut all land, air, and sea borders. These measures are typically associated with attempts to prevent counterattacks, manage internal resistance, or stabilize a volatile political situation.
Right now, a coup has been confirmed in Guinea-Bissau. Now, earlier today, we heard heavy gunfire outside the presidential palace, just days after general elections took place. Let's have a listen to that. Crowds of people were seen running from near the palace. Two candidates have claimed victory ahead of the release of results on Thursday. The incumbent, Umaro Sissoco Embaló, is seeking a second term. He ran against opposition contender Fernando Diaz and 11 others. Let's go to our correspondent Nicholas Hack, who's live for us in Dakar in neighbouring Senegal. So, Nick, what exactly are you hearing about this coup?
Well, we heard from this press conference held at the military headquarters, where a group calling themselves the High Military Command for the Restoration of National Security and Public Order effectively said that it discovered an ongoing plan to destabilize the country, saying with the participation of drug barons, and the aim was to destabilize the election results. Presidential election results were supposed to be announced on Thursday, tomorrow. And so they're just taking over power just as those results were going to be announced. Two main contenders, the incumbent president, Umaro Sissoco, and Fernandez Diaz, both claiming victory. Now, we don't know the whereabouts of the president, but what we know is that the presidential palace is heavily guarded as we speak, surrounded by the presidential guard, and we have the military deployed. There is fear that there could be ongoing violence. So during this communique, they announced that air, land, and sea borders are closed and a curfew in place in the country. Marlene?
Nicholas, give us some context here, because Guinea-Bissau, one of the poorest countries in the world, in Africa, what does this mean now for ordinary people in the country?
It is one of the poorest countries, but it is also what the United Nations, but also U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency call a narco state, one of the biggest narco states in Africa. Why? Well, because it's on the western point of the African coast, and Latin American drug dealers use Guinea-Bissau to funnel cocaine that then is led and sold on the markets in Europe. And so in this communique, it really points to the fact that the drug traffickers were involved in this election, and that's what they were trying to thwart. There's been accusation that the drug money has infested both the political arena, but also the military itself. A couple of years ago, the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency put up a sting that involved the naval chief of the country, accused of trafficking tons of cocaine through the country. But of course, none of that wealth is going to ordinary people. Most people live in poverty. And so during this election process, we saw both the incumbent president and the challenger saying that they would distribute more wealth, that their circumstances would get better. But it has not been the case. And yet another coup in a country that has suffered dozens of coups since independence in 1974 from Portugal.
Right, exactly. On that point, I understand it's experienced 4 coups since independence, as well as multiple attempted coups. Do we know for a fact if this coup is really ongoing, and what more can you tell us about it?
It's still unclear what's happening to the president himself. There's been attempted coups before, and that has helped the incumbent president to garner more strength. But what we know for sure is that the military is definitely in charge today, in charge of the country today. But it comes at a time where we've seen multiple coups in the region. It comes on the heels of an election process that civil society claimed wasn't free and fair. The main political party of the country, the PAIGC, wasn't able to have a candidate in this election. And so it was really Umaro Sissoco, the incumbent president, against the opposition contender, José Diaz, who was really trying to bring change to this process. So even though the polls were held under calm circumstances, as the election results were coming out today, we saw both contenders claim victory, and that's where the military stepped in.
Yeah, did we hear from the head of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, just a few days ago, who were observing the election, praising the election, saying that the whole process had been incredibly peaceful? So the developments that we're seeing now, will they have come as a surprise to most people, to most observers?
Yeah, that seems to be a discrepancy with what civil society says, of course, and this is one of the accusations that many people in civil society say about the West African body of ECOWAS, that is accused of being a club for presidents trying to cling on to power. And so what we've seen is there was an election process that was calm, but that doesn't mean that it was free and fair. The fact that one of the main political parties, the PAIGC, that has been offering candidates that was the party from which the main prime minister was from in previous governments, wasn't able to run in the race, really is a blow to the electoral process. Not only that, the fact that the opposition was clamped down, the fact that there wasn't enough space for discontent to be expressed inside Guinea-Bissau, leads to an election that feels not free and fair, at least from the perspective of civil society. And in this instability, that's where the military steps in. It happens not just in Guinea-Bissau, but it happens in neighboring countries. We saw it in Niger, in Mali, in Burkina Faso, where the trust in the democratic process is not there among many people in the country. And what they want to see change, they want to see more democracy, but also a trickle-down effect of the wealth that's promised by these politicians to the people. Marlene?
Okay, Nicholas, thank you for that. Nicholas Hack, our correspondent.
But what does it say about the level of instability within Guinea-Bissau that such sweeping actions were deemed necessary? And how will ordinary citizens respond to the reality of a country suddenly sealed off from the world? Witnesses in the capital city described heavy gunfire near the presidential palace, the Interior Ministry, and the headquarters of the Electoral Commission. These clashes suggest that the takeover was neither peaceful nor uncontested. Whenever violence surrounds a change of power, deeper concerns emerge. What does this level of confrontation reveal about internal divisions within the armed forces? And what are the long-term implications for national cohesion, security, and the protection of civilian lives? Following these events, the military stated that they had established a new governing body that they are calling the High Military Command for the Restoration of Order, or a similar name. This body will reportedly serve as the ruling authority until further notice. The language used here is critical because it signals indefinite rule, not a temporary correction. This leads to an important question. Are military authorities positioning themselves as protectors of national order, or are they setting the stage for prolonged military governance? And how will the international community interpret this move?
So we have some major breaking news. This is the news that is coming in now. Government of Guinea-Bissau has been taken by the commander of the army in Guinea-Bissau, and there is a coup d'etat that has just happened in Guinea-Bissau. This is the news that is coming in now. The president of Guinea-Bissau, who is known as Embaló, just got arrested by the army in Guinea-Bissau after claiming that he won with the 65% of the total votes. In the video that are circulating online, you can see the army getting into the presidential palace and getting him arrested. He has spoken and he has said that he is a victim of a coup that has just happened in his country right now. This brings to the number of coups that have just happened in Africa in this month alone to 2. The one in Madagascar and the current one is in Guinea-Bissau. The people of Guinea-Bissau and the army have said enough is enough and they want to join the AES, the Sahel states. They are tired of how the country is being run and now they have already taken the country. As we're speaking right now, the President Umaro is under arrest and the government has already been taken by the army.
In moments like this, one thing remains clear. The situation in Guinea-Bissau is still evolving, and the consequences will extend far beyond the country's borders. West Africa is at a critical crossroads, and the decisions made in the coming days and weeks will determine whether the region moves towards stability, deeper conflict, or a redefined political order. What role should citizens, civil society, and the global community play in shaping that outcome? And what lessons should other African nations learn from this moment? As we reflect on these developments, it becomes essential to consider the broader question of Africa's future political direction. Are these events signs of rising resistance against old systems or symptoms of deeper political fractures? And how will history judge this turning point in the decades to come? In conclusion, the takeover in Guinea-Bissau marks another chapter in the rapidly shifting political climate of West Africa. Whether it represents a step toward national renewal or a continuation of instability remains to be seen. What is certain is that your voice matters and your perspective is vital to this conversation. Share your thoughts respectfully in the comments section and let us know what you believe this moment means for Africa's political future. If you find value in our analysis, consider supporting AfriPlusNews Channel through our channel membership or by giving us a super thanks. Your support helps us continue delivering independent, analytical coverage of major events shaping the continent. Disclaimer: this analysis is based on publicly available reports and is intended for educational and informational purposes only. It does not endorse or promote any political group, military action, or unconstitutional change of government. Viewers are encouraged to verify information independently and engage responsibly with the content.